In this file system hierarchy, we'll see what are the directories we get along with Linux operating system. That we'll discuss. So once we install the operating system, along with the operating system, we get default directories. Directory means folder. In Windows, we call folder. In Linux, we call direct. See, in Windows, A and B are reserved for floppy. Whether you are using or not, A and B are reserved for floppy. It starts creating drives from C. Right. So, C is a primary partition, which is very important. Without C drive, there is no operating system, as you know that. So, after entering to the operating system, if you open C drive, so there you can see default folders. Like default folders like users, administrator, system32, library, downloads. You can see some default folders, which comes along with the operating system, right? So similarly, if you install Linux operating system, along with the Linux operating system also, we get some directories. Directory means folder. Okay, we get default directories. So what are the default directories we have in Linux that we are discussing now? Default directories in Linux. Directory means what? Folder, remember. In Windows we call folder, in Linux we call directory. That's it. So these are the default directories we have in Linux. These are the default directories we have in Linux. So about these directories we'll discuss now. So first one is // it is a parent directory or top level directory in Linux. / is a parent directory or top level directory in Linux. Okay, so under / we have these all subdirectories. Under / we have these all directories. So / is a parent directory or top level directory. Okay, so it is similar to C in Windows. So in Windows, C drive is compulsory and here / is compulsory. So under / we have these all directories. So the first subdirectory under / is root. Root is the home directory for super user. As a super user, you logged in into your computer. Super user means administrator. As a super user, you logged in into computer and you are creating any files or directories. The data is going to store under root. Okay, so now you logged in as an administrator and you're creating some files or directories. So by default, the data is going to store under root. If you want to change the location, you can change the location, but this is the default location for storing the data as a super user. Super user means what? Administrator. Okay, and next one is home. Home is the home directory for normal user. As a normal user, you logged in into computer and if you create any files or directories, so the data is going to store under home. Home is the home directory for normal users. Here, another point to be remembered, once a user is created, with the same username, it creates a directory also under home. So when the user logged in and creating any files or directories, the data is going to store under home directory. Now say for example, you created a user Tom. Immediately it creates a directory with the same name Tom. Where it creates the directory means under home. So When Tom user logged in and Tom is creating any files or directories, the data is going to store under Tom's directory, which is under home. Now you created another user, Jerry. Immediately it creates a directory with same name. Where it creates the directory? Under home. Now, under home, we have Tom and Jerry subdirectories, like subfolders. So when Tom user logged in and creating any files or directory, the data is going to store under Tom's directory. When Jerry user logged in and Jerry is creating any files or directories, the data is going to store under Jerry's directory. Okay. I'm repeating, /, it is a parent directory or top level directory in Linux. / is similar to C in Windows. It is similar to C in Windows. Okay. So it contains subdirectories. And next one is root. Root is the home directory for super user. Super user means administrator. Root is the home directory for super user. As a super user, we logged in into computer, and if you create any files or directories, the data is going to store under root. And next one is home. Home is the home directory for normal user. As a normal user, you logged in into computer, and if you create any files or directories, that data is going to store under home directory. Clear these three directories? Clear these three directories?
Yes, thank you.
And next is boot. Boot contains bootable files. Operating system bootable files are stored under boot. Also kernel. Up to version 6, kernel also stored under boot. Boot contains bootable files and kernel. Kernel up to version 6. And next one is sbin. Sbin contains super user commands. The commands which can be executed by super user. That commands are stored under sbin. Bin contains normal user commands. The commands which can be executed by normal user. That commands are stored under bin. Super user commands are stored under sbin. Normal user commands are stored under bin. Okay, see, when you logged in as a normal user and you're creating any files or directories, the data is going to store, when you logged in as a normal user and you're executing any commands means, first, it will check in bin directory, whether the command is available or not. If the command is available, then it will give you output. Otherwise, it will not give you output. Similarly, when you logged in as a super user and executing any commands, first it will check in as bin. If the command is available as bin, then only you will get the output. Okay, as bin contains super user commands, bin contains normal user commands. And next is USR. USR contains default applications. Applications which comes along with operating system. That applications are stored under USR. USR contains default application. The next one is var. Var contains variable files, means system log files are stored under var. Sbin contains super user commands, means the commands which can be executed by super user, means administrator. That commands are stored under sbin. Bin contains normal user commands, the commands which can be executed by normal user. That commands are stored under bin. USR contains default applications, which comes along with operating system. That applications are stored under USR. Var contains variable files, means system log files are stored under var. In Windows, we can see task manager, right? So when you open the task manager, it will show you how many users are logged in, which user is performing what task, how many applications are open, how much memory is used, CPU is used, every information it will display there. Same like that here also. Var contains variable files. Next one is dev. Dev contains devices information. Devices means partitions information. In Windows, we call partition. In Linux, we call device. So dev contains devices information. etc contains configuration file. etc contains configuration file. System configuration files are stored under etc. System configuration files are stored under etc. As we discussed, Linux works with configuration file, not setup files, right? So that configuration files are stored under etc. OPT contains optional applications. Applications which we install manually. They are not compulsory to install. If we want, we can install them. So that type of applications are stored under OPT. OPT contains optional applications. And next one is media. Media contains external devices information, means removable devices information. External hard disk, external DVD writers, USB devices, all external devices information is maintained by media. Media contains external devices information. Up to version 6. Up to version 6, media contains external devices information. So when something is connected, pen drive is connected, if you open directory, media directory, it will show the content of the pen drive. If you connected DVD or external hard disk is connected, if you open media directory, there you can see the content of the device like that. Okay. USR contains default applications which comes along with operating system. Var contains variable files, means system log files. Dev contains devices information, means partitions information. etc contains configuration files. System configuration files are stored under etc. OPT contains optional applications which comes along with operating system. That applications which we install manually. OPT contains optional applications which we install manually. They are not compulsory to install. If we want, we install some applications like you want some Maya software, Adobe Reader you required, or some software, Oracle you required, something which you required and you installed. That type of applications are information is stored under OPT. Okay. Media contains external devices information, removable devices information up to version 6. MNT contains partitions and their mounted directories information. Which partition is linked with which directory? That information is maintained by MNT. See, in Windows means once a partition is created and formatted, we can access the partition. We can access the partition directly. We can create something in that partition. We can delete files and folders, or we can check the content also just by double clicking on the partition. But in Linux, it is not like that. Once a partition is created and formatted, we cannot access the partition. So after creating the partition and formatting the partition, we must mount with a directory, means link with a directory. So we can access the partition through directory. Directory is like monitor to your partition. So whatever data you want to create in your partition, just go to the directory. Directory means what? Folder. Go to the directory which is linked with your partition and there create. It stores that in your partition. So if you something creates in the directory, the data is going to store in your partition. If you delete something from the directory, it deletes from the partition. If you check your directory, you can see the content of your partition. So this practically you will get in Linux administration codes, not here. That concept is there. Partitions concept is there in Linux administration course. So there you will get that. So in MNT, it contains which partition is linked with which directory. That information is maintained by MNT. Okay. And next one is run. Run contains external devices information, means removable devices information and kernel information. From version 7, RHEL version 7 onwards. Run contains removable devices information and kernel information. Okay, up to version 6, boot contains kernel and media contains external devices information. From version 7 onwards, run contains external devices information and kernel information. Okay, so these are the default directories we have in Linux. I'm repeating the directories. First of all, tell me, is this directories are clear? Is this directories are clear, everyone?
Yeah, for me, okay.
Done. So I'm repeating forward slash. It is a parent directory or top level directory in Linux. It is similar to C in Windows. Under forward slash, we have subdirectories. Under forward slash, we have subdirectory. Directory means folder. In Windows, we call folder. In Linux, we call directory. Okay. So first is root. Under forward slash, first subdirectory is root. Root is the home directory for super user. Super user means administrator. As a super user, you logged in into a computer, and if you create any files or directories, the data is going to store under root. And next one is home. Home is the home directory for normal user. As a normal user, you logged in into computer, and if you create any files or directories, the data is going to store under home. And next one is boot. Boot contains bootable files. Operating system bootable files are stored under boot. Also kernel. Up to version 6, kernel also stored under boot. And next one is sbin. Sbin contains super user commands, the commands which can be executed by super user. That commands are stored under sbin. Bin contains normal user commands, the commands which can be executed by normal user. That commands are stored under bin. USR contains default applications, applications which comes along with operating system. That applications are stored under USR. Var contains variable files, means log files. System log files are stored under var. It is similar to Task Manager in Windows. Var is similar to Task Manager in Windows. Okay. And next one is dev. Dev contains devices information. Device means what? Partitions. Dev contains devices information. How many partitions are there? What is the size of the partition? How much free space is there? How much space is used? All this information is maintained by dev. And next one is etc. etc contains configuration files. System configuration files are stored under etc. As we discussed, Linux works with configuration file. So where all the configuration files are stored means under etc. And next one is OPT. OPT contains optional applications. Yeah, Michael?
First session, please. Can you just explain what you mean by Linux only works with configuration files, please?
Yeah. Come again.
He is asking about the configuration files. So what type of configuration files?
We have configuration files like /etc/passcode, /etc/shadow, /etc/export. These are the configuration files. In Windows, we have applications, right? So if you want to install anything, DNS, DHCP, FTP, something, softwares if you want to install, applications or servers you want to install, we have setup files, right? Similarly, in Linux, we have configuration file. If you want to install NFS in your Linux machine, means we need to configure /etc/export file. There is a file exports which is under etc. If you want to do if you want to check your users information, or if you want to do some changes in your users, there is a file password which is under etc. So like this, for every user, there is for every applications or softwares, we have configuration files, no setup files in Linux. So we'll configure all the configuration files manually. Actually, here I will show 4 configuration files in our class /etc/password/etc/shadow/etc/group and /etc/gshadow. These 4 files I will show in coming classes. In Linux means how to configure the in Linux administration course means how to configure the configuration files, what is the configuration files use, everything you will get in Linux administration course. So etc contains configuration files. So Linux works with configuration files, no setup files in Linux. So all the configuration files are stored under etc. Something you are sharing. You want to share a directory from one PC to another PC. First, we write a configuration about it. Under etc, we write a configuration like this is my directory. I want to share this directory with this PC. I want to give this permissions like read write permission I want to give, like that. Something we configure. Where we configure means under etc. All the configuration files are stored under etc. And next one is, Michael, is that clear?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, fine. The next is OPT. OPT contains optional applications, applications which we install manually. That applications are stored under OPT. No, I think I'm telling from starting onwards, right? /, it is a parent directory or top level directory in Linux. It is similar to C drive in Windows. It contains subdirectories. Root is the home directory for super user. Super user means administrator. As a super user, you logged in into computer, and if you create any files or directories, the data is going to store under root. Home is the home directory for normal user. As a normal user, you logged in into computer, and if you create any files or directories, the data is going to store under home. Boot contains bootable files and kernel up to version 6. Sbin contains super user commands, the commands which can be executed by super user. That commands are stored under sbin. Bin contains normal user commands, the commands which can be executed by normal user. That commands are stored under bin. USR contains default applications, applications which comes along with operating system. That applications are stored under USR. Where contains variable files. System log files are stored under where. Dev contains devices information, means partitions information is stored under dev. etc contains configuration files. System configuration files are stored under etc. OPT contains optional applications. Application which comes along with optional applications. Applications which we install manually. They are not compulsory to install, but if we want, we install them manually. That type of applications are stored under OPT. Media contains external devices information, means removable devices information is stored under media. Removable hard disk, DVD writers, USB devices information is stored under media. MNT contains partitions and their mounted directories information. Which partition is linked with which directory? That information is maintained by MNT. Run contains external devices information and kernel information from version 7 onwards. So these are the directories we have in Linux. So if you are Working as an administrator, you must remember all these directories because regular classes we use this all the directories. In Linux administration course, we use this all the directories, but as we are in the shell scripting, we don't use all this directory, only few directories we use here. Okay, so about these directories, notes I will share to you on Telegram. Okay, so those who paid for this course, ask for the Telegram link and join into the Telegram link. There will be a separate link for this batch. There will be a separate group. Add into that group. Okay, so there I will share the notes. Daily I will share the notes to Telegram groups. Okay, or Telegram group. You can follow the notes and you can prepare yourself. You can do the practical steps also. I will share to you on Telegram. Even if you have any doubts while doing the practicals or after finishing this course, you are doing the practice or you are trying something. Okay. If you have any doubts also, you can message me on the Telegram. So this is about file system hierarchy. In the next session, I will explain how to install Linux operating system. Once I install Linux operating system, daily practicals will be there. Daily there will be practicals. Okay. So next class is OS installation. So this is about today's session. As these are the demo session, I'm not going with long classes. So, but as per the schedule, I'm completing the classes. I'm not skipping anything. So in my class, I will not go fast. If something concept is not clear or any point is not clear or any step on executing is not clear, you can ask me there itself. You can message me on the chat box also. Okay, I will explain definitely. Ask me if you have any doubt. You can disturb. Don't think that if you speak in the middle, I'll get disturbed. It is not like that. You can ask me. If you message me on the chat box also, I will check. Okay. So this is about today's session. Next class is with OS installation. Thank you so much for the session.
Thank you.
We'll meet on the next session. Yeah.